The Faithful Prince. Long ago, there lived a king who had an only son who was known across the land for his charm and good looks. The prince went hunting one day. Suddenly, from a thicket flashed a golden deer. The astonished prince ordered they form a circle. But then,
"Let me go."
to their astonishment, the creature had a human voice.
"I will give you countless treasures." "I already have many riches, but I do not own a golden deer." "Then I will give you more than treasures." "And what may that be?" "I will give you a ride on my back like no mortal man has rode before." "Very well."
The glittering deer rose up. For 7 days and 7 nights, it carried the prince over all the world. On the evening of the 7th day, it touched the earth once more and instantly vanished. Prince Baramgor rubbed his eyes in bewilderment, but he had never been in such a strange country before.
How did you come here, and what are you looking for, my son?
"I rode upon a golden deer. He left me here in this strange country and then vanished."
You are in Demon's Land. I am the demon Jazdrul, whose life you saved when I was on Earth in the form of a golden deer.
"It is you?"
Come with me, my son.
The demon Jazdrul took the prince to his house. Jazdrul gave him 100 keys.
"Whatever are these for?"
These are the keys to my many palaces and gardens. Amuse yourself, and somewhere you may find a treasure worth keeping.
So every day, Prince Baramgor opened a new palace and garden. Over and over, he found riches beyond everything the heart desires. When he reached the 100th palace, it was a hovel full of poisonous snakes and insects. But the garden in which it stood, it was by far the most magnificent of all the gardens. The prince, enchanted, wandered 7 miles this way and 7 miles that. While he slept, the fairy princess Shahpasand, who was taking the shape of a pigeon, happened to fly over the garden. Catching sight of the splendid, handsome young prince, the fairy sank to earth in astonishment, seeing such a lovely sight. No sooner did they see each other, did they fall desperately in love. And so, they agreed to get married without any delay. However, the prince thought he should consult his host, the demon Jazdrul, seeing this was his land.
"I have found a princess to marry."
Wonderful!
To the young man's delight, the demon appeared greatly pleased. Prince Baramgor and the fairy princess Shahpasand were married and lived ever so happily. But the thought of the home he had left returned to the prince, and he began to think longingly of his father and mother. "What ails you, my prince?" He fell to speaking of them to the princess, his new wife, and then took to sighing and refusing his dinner until he became quite pale and thin. "You must eat! You are wasting away!"
"I don't care. I want to go home."
Now the demon Jazdrul used to sit every night in a little room below the prince and princess to listen to them to be sure they were happy. He asked Prince Baramgor what was the cause of his growing so pale and sighing so often.
Oh, good demon.
The affable young prince would have rather died of grief than committed the rudeness of telling his host he was longing to get away.
Let me see my father and mother. Let me and my princess go, or I shall assuredly die.
At first, the demon refused, but at last he took pity on the prince.
Be it so. However, you will soon long to be back here in Demon's Land. Your world has changed since you left it, and you will have trouble. Take this hair with you. When you need my help, burn it, and I will immediately come to your assistance.
I am sorry. I have nothing. Oh my, I can't believe it's you!
Oh, my prince, where have you been?
I was taken to a strange land where I met this beautiful princess. What has happened to my city? Where is father and mother?
I am sorry, Prince. They are gone.
No, that can't be true.
I am so sorry.
Indeed, his father and mother were both dead. A usurper had taken over the throne and put a price on Prince Baramgor's head should he ever return. The huntsman agreed to let the young couple live in the attic of his house.
My old mother is blind. She will never see you coming and going. And you can help me to hunt, as I used to help you.
So they hid in the huntsman's house. Now one fine day, when the prince had gone out to hunt, Princess Shapasan took the opportunity of washing her beautiful golden hair. Her long hair hung round her neck and down to her ankles like a shower of sunshine. And when she had washed and combed it, she set the window ajar so that the fresh morning breeze might blow through and dry her hair. Just at this moment, the chief constable of the town happened to pass by, saw the lovely princess with her glittering golden hair. He was so overcome at the sight that he fell right off his horse and into the gutter. The chief never ceased raving about a beautiful fairy with golden hair in the huntsman's home. This story found its way to the king's ear, so he sent soldiers to the huntsman's house. But she, being blind, had no inkling of what they were speaking of.
No one lives here. No beautiful lady, no ugly one either. Only me and my son. But go up to the attic and look for yourselves, if you must.
Using a knife, the princess cut a hole in the wooden roof. Then, taking the form of a pigeon, she flew out, so that when the soldiers burst in, they found no one. The princess, greatly distressed at having to leave her beautiful young prince, as she flew past the blind old crone, she whispered in her ear,
"I will go to my father's house in the Emerald Mountain."
Great was his grief at finding the attic empty, and the blind old crone could not tell him much of what had occurred, other than the mysterious voice she heard.
Go to my father's house in the Emerald Mountain?
That is what I heard.
He was at first somewhat comforted, but when he reflected that he had not the faintest idea where the Emerald Mountain was, he became very sad. He refused to eat and would cry for his princess every day. At last, he remembered the magic hair and threw it into the fire. It had scarcely begun to burn when...
My prince, what can I do for you?
Show me the way to the Emerald Mountain.
You would never reach it alive. Be guided by me. Forget all that has passed and begin a new life.
I have but one life, and that is gone if I lose my princess. As I must die, let me die seeking her.
Touched by the young prince, Jazdrul promised to aid him as far as possible. Back to Demon's Land, he gave him a magic wand and took him to the demon Nanak Chand's house.
You will meet with many dangers, but keep the magic wand in your hand day and night, and nothing will harm you. That is all I can do for you. But Nanak Chand, my elder brother, can help you farther.
He held the magic wand in his hand day and night. No harm came to him. At last he arrived at the demon Nanak Chand's house. The demon had just awakened from a 12-year sleep, so he was desperately hungry, and on first sight of the prince, his mouth watered.
How can I help you?
When the demon Nanak Chand had heard the whole story, he shook his head.
You will never reach the Emerald Mountain, my son. Be guided by me. Forget all that has passed and begin a new life.
I have but one life, and that is gone if I lose my dearest princess. If I must die, let me die seeking her.
This answer touched Nanak Chand, so he gave the faithful prince a box of powdered antimony and bade him travel on through Demon's Land till he came to the house of the great demon Safed.
Safed is my eldest brother. If anybody can do what you want, he will. If you are in need, rub this powder on your eyes, and whatever you wish near will be near. But whatever you wish far will be far.
When the prince showed the demon the wand, powder, and heard the whole story, Safed shook his head.
You will never reach the Emerald Mountain, my son. Be guided by me. Forget all that has passed and begin a new life.
I have but one life, and that is gone if I lose my dearest princess. If I must die, let me die seeking her.
You are brave. I must do my best for you. Take this yak cap. Whenever you put it on, you will become invisible. Journey to the north. And after a while, in the far distance, you will see the Emerald Mountain. Then, put the powder on your eyes and wish the mountain near. It is an enchanted hill, and the farther you climb, the higher it goes. On the summit lies the Emerald City. Enter secretly by means of your invisible cap.
Still, he could not find her. Fact was, Princess Shapasan's father had locked her up inside 7 prisons for fear she would fly away again. Being her father, he was worried she would escape back to Earth and to her handsome young prince.
If your husband comes to you, then well and good, but you shall never go back to him.
So the poor princess wept all day long, for how could mortal man ever reach the Emerald Mountain? At the sight of her, he could barely refrain from flinging himself to her. But remembering that he was invisible, he waited till the servant left, locking all 7 prisons one by one. She thought she must be dreaming, but when the hole had vanished, she became convinced someone was in the room with her.
Who eats in the same dish? My sweet prince!
The servant next day was astonished when she found the young prince seated beside his princess. The king, on hearing the whole story, was very pleased at the courage of Prince Baramgor and ordered the princess to be released.
Her husband has found his way to her.
The king appointed the prince to be his heir. The faithful Prince Barangor and his beautiful bride lived happily ever afterwards in the Emerald Kingdom.